This was the first dragon Daenerys ever lost. After the battle ended, the White Walkers dragged the dragon out of the freezing lake. The Night King slowly walked up to it and lightly placed his hand on its body. The next second, the dragon's eyes snapped open. No one realized that an even greater nightmare started right at that moment. At the same time, Daenerys personally traveled to King's Landing to negotiate a ceasefire with Cersei. The talks had barely begun when Cersei took a condescending stance and completely dismissed Daenerys. Daenerys didn't argue, and instead ordered her men to bring out the White Walker, captured in the north. The moment the creature appeared, the entire hall fell into dead silence. Even Jaime, a veteran of countless battles, showed real fear on his face for the first time. Only then did everyone understand that the White Walkers were not a myth, but a real and present threat. Jon Snow then stepped forward to explain the nature of the White Walkers. Regular White Walkers feared fire, and flames could stop them from rising again. Any weapon forged from dragonglass could also kill them outright. Aside from these methods, almost every other attack was useless. Jon Snow went on to say that the White Walker army had already grown past 100,000. Even worse, that number was still climbing. Every person who died would be raised by the Night King and turned into another White Walker. After hearing this, Yara from the Iron Islands asked a question.
Can they swim?
No.
Good. I'm taking the Iron Fleet back to the Iron Islands.
What are you talking about?
I've been around the world. I've seen everything, things you couldn't imagine, and this is the only thing I've ever seen that terrifies me.
When she received a negative answer, she clearly let out a sigh of relief. She even advised Daenerys to retreat to the islands as well. Only then did Cersei truly grasp how serious the situation was. She agreed to a temporary truce with Daenerys, but only under one condition. Once the White Walkers were dealt with, Jon Snow had to remain in the north and stay out of any war. But Jon Snow, who had already sworn loyalty to Daenerys, rejected the demand on the spot. Hearing this, Cersei completely lost her patience. The negotiations collapsed instantly, with no chance of continuing. Daenerys never expected Jon Snow to reveal his stance at that moment. She had lost an ancient dragon and gained absolutely nothing in return. The group left King's Landing filled with anger and disappointment. They had no idea that something far worse was already closing in. By this time, the White Walker army had reached the area beyond the wall. Under the terrified eyes of the Night's Watch, the Night King descended from the sky on the resurrected dragon. The next second, the dragon unleashed an eerie blue flame. The blue fire slammed into the wall, throwing the Night's Watch into chaos as they scattered in panic. This undead dragon showed no signs of slowing down and kept blasting the wall non-stop. Before long, the wall that had stood for